Qlash Spain finds themselves on the blue. Existence will be on the red. It is the international format, which means the two-phase system is in effect. So 2 bans per team. Then some picks, another 2 bans. Well, you said they needed to have something, and TJ, they just said goodbye.
It's not worth banning the
Elsu is gone. Florentino seems to be the next lock-in for bans for Existence. It is.
If you can't play it, ban it.
I disagree. Force them to ban. Existence haven't played a good Elsu.
Wait, hold up. We just saw Qlash getting dominated on that Elsu. Why would Existence
because
ban it?
Roids isn't a great Elsu either. So like,
so just ignore the Elsu. Yeah. Just let it slip by.
Not even kidding. Elsu requires you to be incredibly good at it to play. Wasting a ban on it in a match where neither team feels incredibly comfortable on it feels weird. But they get away with it now. They have to ban out the Varus because the Varus has been powerful. This means probably Richter gets through the draft. I expect this will be a Sephira ban.
The fact that they banned Varus says to me that they haven't had a good look at what's happening elsewhere, because if they would have not banned Varus, because Varus is incredibly broken. Take it as the first pick, or forced enemy to ban it, because then they have to complete the ban of Varus on the first phase.
And that's why I would have left Elsu up, because you let the Elsu through, and then all of a sudden you're living in a world where sure, the other team gets the Elsu, we know they're a little bit uncomfortable on, and you get the Varus. Kind of the inverse of what happened to them last game. As is, though, Qlash do get their ban phase stalled out. Existence opt to ban the teamie. This leaves a lot of power picks on the cards.
Sephira as well as Richter as an opportunity, and what we've seen when both of those heroes are left open, which has been quite the common factor in previous weeks. Instead, they say no, forget you guys on the analyst desk. Qlash opts to go for the Lindis as a first lock-in, which leaves the Sephira-Richter combo available for Existence if they so choose.
I'm a big Lindis fan. We had this conversation prior to the cast, Marek. You were saying, what do you think the most powerful characters are right now? I said, definitely Lindis. And you were like, really? But it's such a strong character.
Liliana, Sephira.
Yes.
I'm actually going to predict Sephira Annette coming through, because Annette Sephira would make a lot of sense. Kind of double support style of gameplay. You rotate Sephira mid with Annette just on the rotations. Would make a lot of sense.
This may be a support Sephira coming out right now alongside the Liliana. That would be really fun, because you'd take away Zepta's favorite characters. He'd go over to the Tulin, but they'll swap it up. It should just be this Sephira Annette. You look smart again.
Existence.
My work here is done.
They lock it back in, and Envision finds himself on the desk for the first time here in the Valor series, and lo and behold, already doing some fantastic predictions and challenging my delightful color caster here.
I don't feel challenged. I'm confident. I predict they're gonna pick this Flash.
Oh wow, your intelligence is overwhelming and your predictions are stupendous. Richter seems to be the next lock-in as well for Qlash Spain, as Existence gets one final pick as an option now before we get ourselves into the second phase.
Omen's really fun into Flash because of the Flash full commits with super speed. You'll have the Death's Embrace and it can't get back. Which is really fun to do to people. It's also a very good sideline pick into the Richter, so it was really just the most intelligent choice Existence had on the cards. Now they're worried about making sure that Omen wins side lanes. They'll do that by banning out the Roxy up top. And I'd expect them to turn an eye towards the ADCs, as Existence don't actually have a whole bunch of focus on it, whereas Sky does.
And look, Qlash Spain actually takes a page out of their review book from last game. They take the Cricknack off the table. They saw the performance that it had in game number 1. That is a definitive takeaway now for the jungler of Existence.
I don't agree with that though, because Blue Dragon has a lot of other melees that he can play as a similar effect. So if you're looking like, I would say he should draft something like a Zephyrs here. I don't really agree with that ban either though.
Well, Baldwin was in last game, and it was played by Qlash.
Yeah, Qlash did run a Baldwin, but it wasn't fantastic.
Actually, I like the Baldwin ban here because they have Flash already, which means combining that with Baldwin would mean that if a Baldwin lands a good ultimate, Flash can Typhoon, and the Typhoon will pop as soon as people come out of Baldwin ultimate, and that's going to be a lot of trouble.
You've got your next DJ beat being thrown out now by Qlash Spain as they decide to figure out what their final lock-in is going to be. Talanis being taken off the table. Final bans have been completed. Now Existence have a first pick opportunity in the second phase.
That's weird and wrong, and Qlash shouldn't have done it because they have a better sideline player for the Telenas. If you challenge for that, unless they're planning on running that Lindison sideline, which I wouldn't have expected, it was just a missed opportunity.
But why would you run double ADC? You just switch Lindison into the jungle and you would have double melee side lanes.
But we've seen double ADC work very, very well in the EU meta right now, and particularly into this kind of squishy setup that Existence are running. I would have really liked it because it would have melted a lot of the front line.
Wonder Woman, though, seems to be the hover for Existence as they look to be finding something out to round out their other potential side laner. Or in the jungle, we've seen Wonder Woman be able to have both of that. Now an opportunity as well for Blue Triton to go for something with that little sense of engage, as well as hitting some nice lassos.
I would have expected the Ryoma here, but maybe they feel, as I noticed, that their roster is a little bit too squishy.
I think it's, yeah, it's the squishiness as well as just the opportunity of the ultimate that Wonder Woman provides can help out lock down some of the team so those squishier characters can survive. But a Malik seems to be the potential counter now by Qlash.
I would like actually a Morin pick here for Existence.
Yeah.
It will make a lot of sense. They have the phenomenal defensive composition on their hands right now. They have the double support on top of Wonder Woman and Omen.
But I don't really think they have anyone who plays a good sideline marksman. I've expressed this opinion before. I've yet to be disproven on it. The one thing I would have preferred from Qlash is kind of them to go double marksman.
Well, crashed.
But instead they go for support crashed sideline Malik. And that will, I think, take away Existence's crashed, which they're happy about. And it gives them very strong engage, kind of counter idea to running double marksman. If you run double engage, you can stun up these squishies and chunk them so badly on the initial fight that the cleanup is easy from the Richter and Lindis.
So then how does this composition get rounded out now? Wonder Woman still technically can be a flex.
They need sustained damage
They
over on
do.
Existence.
There you go. You said you said you haven't been sold yet on the side lane marksman. Slims is an opportunity, can be in the jungle though.
They'll probably flip it to jungle.
Yeah.
Blue Triton plays or played a lot of Slims in the last season. And I would expect them to run this Wonder Woman inside. The problem if they do that though is that Malik is a pretty obvious counter to Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
Maybe
but they could have Omen go up against Malik, not Wonder Woman necessarily.
Yeah, you could do some lane swapping shenanigans.
Slims is locked in. You can see the immediate swap over to Blue Triton, and you said it before, and it's something that we need to highlight again. Even though Slims doesn't find himself at the top of the meta from the marksman from what we've seen in times past, Blue Triton was one of the most accomplished players on this. I see the look of confuzzlement that you have. Omen is being flopped onto Clamaris now as Roids seems to be picking up that Wonder Woman.
There was like a moment where I was worried that they were running a net mid or something weird, because we've seen them run Sephiroth's side lane in the past, and it was fine. It was a passing moment. I had like a moment.
What was it one of the Dio-chan support moments?
Yeah, it was like the beginning of that same feeling, kind of an acrid taste in the back of my mouth. I'm like, oh, that's not right.
They're going to stick Random back in the jungle, though.
Yep.
He will be back in the jungle, which means Sky gets to be put on that Richter on for a side lane, as well as, of course, Red being on that Malik. Crest clearly going...
This is right. This is the right comp from Qlash. This is the right comp from Existence.
But this is what we were talking about. Game 1 and Game 2 have essentially mutually exclusive moments for a team like Qlash, and the ability to flip the switch has been something that has been both a defining feature positively and negatively. A solid draft, as well as finally putting players in the right positions, could be that opportunity.
As I was talking about before, Qlash pretty consistently tie games. They lose a game or they win a game, and then they do the opposite the next one. But this is a composition, I think, until that Slims pick, I would have favored Existence in it, but because they go for the Slims in the jungle, not a side lane ADC, which again I don't think they can run, which is a serious weakness, they won't be able, I think, to scale quickly enough. The Slims is a very slow farm in the jungle, and with Malik and Crest opposing him, that's going to be a lot of pressure into the jungle.
I actually think Slim's going to work out well for them. I was kind of, worried. As you said, they don't have a phenomenal sidelines marksman player, but Slims in the jungle can get farmed incredibly quickly. It kind of depends on how the flying spears are going to connect, because if you get a couple of good ganks, that's all you need to turn the kind of turn the battle. And when Slims gets fed, even if you're hitting on Malik, because in the front line, your passive will still mean that you are going to proc your damage onto the Flash and Lindis, who are going to be behind that tank.
I do think, though, in addition to what I feel is a very slow farm for the Slims, especially compared to the Lindis, you also have the problem that I don't see who those Flying Spears kill. Because the Flash can always dodge them, the Richter can invulnerability through them with the Retaliate, and Malik and Qlash couldn't care less if they're stunned for a bit, because they have enough HP.
That's true, that's true. So, I mean, it is a difficult situation, but I still think Existence's kind of defensive composition will come in handy, because that double support will work out wonders for them.
Game number one was predicted correctly by Envision, though. I did give you guys the hot seat for. Don't you wag your thumb at me.
I didn't know they were changing who was playing the characters.
Well, you know what? Sometimes you just have to accept your losses, TJ.
Never.
Envision was correct in game number one. Said that Existence could do it. We're gonna find out now. It's time for game number 2 of the European region, our last of this region for the day. Qlash Spain versus Existence, who finds themselves 1-0 up over their opponents.
Qlash grouping around middle this time around. Once again, the same start from both of these teams. They're going to be staying defensive, kind of poking out, staying in the middle as those supports helping out their team.
This is something to track for Qlash. They have a double engage off the back of the Qlash and Malik. I want to see that work out well, because if you land Shock in the Metamorphosis, everyone's going to have a bad time.
Yeah, that's definitely true. But in terms of lane switching, we didn't have some old weird switcheroo, but Flash is up top. Now, this is, you said you want to see Q or Qlash be their old selves. What is happening? DJ, enlighten me with your knowledge.
They're messing it up, because not only is it weird that they're putting the Flash deliberately into an Omen, which is not a good matchup for him, it's also weird because Sephira is a pretty good matchup for the Flash. So they're just wrong. I don't have a whole lot for you there, bud. Especially because Sky's a good top lane player. I really don't understand that.
Is Europe's middle of the pack the new Latam?
No, because the Flash isn't being run in support.
Well, Flash jungle would be, you know, interesting one to see, I'd say. But Qlash, they're still sticking around. They're trying to find an aggressive push onto the opposing jungle, but they do not find anything as of right now.
Where are they even playing Sky? Like, he's not getting wave clear.
He's in middle, TJ.
Okay.
If you've been confused, he is the guardian of the middle bush.
But he hasn't been getting wave from mid.
Well, that could be the case, but Abyssal Dragon does get cleaned up by Qlash this time around as the first objective on the map. Random's gonna go aggressive into the opposing jungle. There's the ultimate coming through, and Qlash, they start up strong. First blood on their hands. Royds is gonna be there as well. The Wonder Woman in the midst of the fight. He's taking a lot of damage. Mowgli still on the forefront of the fight, putting down those other. Oh, and Net comes through with the cuffs and locks down Qlash. Qlash now have to be careful because the trade has been equalized. Qlash, they lose 2 for their over-aggression.
Wow, if only the Flash was with them during the fight. But they put him up in the top lane, so he was nowhere close. Isn't that weird?
I mean, Flash is getting a lot of good farm.
But, like, they could have really used, instead of having another brawler, because Sky is fine in the mid, he's great, but they didn't need another brawler in that fight. They needed an extra bit of CC, an extra bit of mobility to stun up the pressure towards them. That's why you run the Flash in mid, because his extra mobility allows him to contribute to all the team fights, and his Cyclone allows him to contribute to team fights even if he's behind, because it's such a good AoE stun ability.
That could be the case, but Zefta finds himself down at the bottom lane this time around. What? The lane swap happened because Wonder Woman up against Malik is a bad matchup, as you said. And Existence, they're like, we're gonna switch it up, but the side of Qlash, they respond. They send Flash into the bottom now.
You know where they can't run Omen to counter your Flash? Mid.
This is just confusing times, confusing times.
I'm not confused, I'm upset. Because, like, Sky can't stay in mid. He's losing to the poke battle because Bamboo is entirely capable of out-poking Richter. So there's just really no reason to run Richter into Sephira in mid.
Well, the fact that Slims is... Oh, Bamboo gets bursted here, random with the auto attacks coming through. x6tence is now running back out of the tower. Royd's putting whatever damage he can down onto the members of Qlash as x6tence. He's still sticking around, trying to save his teammate, but Wonder Woman goes into the bush, and he's sticking around. Up, well, he gets found out. Royd finally is gonna go and be in the fight there as Mowgli has used an ultimate as well. Royd throws himself to the wolves of Qlash as they get the kill.
The one upside for Qlash is that they've just got Random in the jungle the whole time, and he's been farming quite well. So it doesn't really matter that I have no clue what they're doing with their mid laner, because Random's still out farming the rest of existence.
See, the question now is, how can the enemy know what you're doing if you don't know what you're doing?
I think you might be onto something.
The valid strategy. Confuse the enemy.
I wouldn't go that far, but they're at the very least confusing me on the commentary desk. The other weird thing with this is how much farm Mowgli's taking. He's built towards Essence of the Wind, but if you look, he's actually almost leading the team in gold. He's like up there on par with their other side laners, mid laner, which is their Richter. He's their support. You should be behind. You should rely on the fact that Mowgli is going to use that metamorphosis for the vast majority of his presence on the map, but they're instead building him kind of up ahead of the rest of the team.
The thing last game was
I hope you could tell how upset I am by how long it's taken me to say these sentences.
The thing that Qlash last game didn't have was control of the map, but this time around x6tence, they've had a really bad start. They're losing in kills, they're losing in objectives. Final Flash is going to be coming in. Cyclone pops back x6tence, and there's a kill. Random with those auto attacks are going to be coming through. Claymaras is still trying to back away from this one, as he is going to be successful in doing so. Blue Triton putting down the auto attacks, but Qlash, they're going to go for the jungle instantly.
I think I might have decoded it. I figured it out. The reason they were doing all the weird things was so that they could give Random a whole bunch of mid-farm. Because you can see exactly how farmed he is. He's currently at 4.1k. That's because they kept giving him mid-farm during the early game. They were sacrificing it, taking it away from their mid. They didn't want to actually starve out Royds. Surely not.
Yeah, he does get one of these kills. The tower does go down, which means Qlash get a little bit of money going into their pockets. But now Flash is going to be rotating in for Royds as well down at the bottom side of the map. Meanwhile, x6tence are looking for a top fight up top. Qlash is pushing on that lane and pressuring them over there, but there's nothing more that happens there. Meanwhile, Zefta down at the bottom was successful in taking down Wonder Woman.
Okay, figured it out. Science time.
All right.
It's all about power farming Random.
Let me get my notebook. Wait.
No, it's all right. I see that notebook's already out. Because they're able to put Random in mid to take away gold, they don't want Zefta to fall behind. So they shift Zefta up to top. They rely on Sky to build mobility with that Hermes select and pick up what gold he can from across the map. But they're mostly just relying on giving Random that extra mid farm like you're seeing here for the obvious result that you can see, where he has so much extra damage. They're almost playing a man down, shifting Sky over to his secondary support role.
Yeah, that's something that x6tence should be doing. Not the side of Qlash there, but Qlash is successful in kind of going for what their team composition allows them to do and what they want to do in terms of strategy and what they drafted for. And now it's really showing as well, as Royd does use an ultimate to break stuff. Submission's going to be down for the count. There's going to be the metamorphosis coming through. Zef. That's been stunned under tower! What a spear coming through from the side of x6tence. Blue Triton has stopped it again. Oh, Richter Sky Crew! What are you doing? How does he do it? He jumps in and everybody disappears.
Random gets all 3 kills there. Sky gets in there, does the damage, gets the final tick, but Random's doing the vast majority of the damage.
Oh, Bamboo, he's going down low as well as Qlash. They're looking to finish here on this top lane. They get the high ground tower, and now the base is wide open. Should a fight go bad for x6tence once more, it could spell disaster and end of days for their game 2.
Now the mid lane pressure comes through. Random absolutely burning through the towers. Zefta in trouble.
Oh, that's a good jump in from x6tence. Did push the enemies back onto their own team. Qlash, though, they're taking a lot of damage from Claymaras. He's gonna take
take a low. Royce goes down,
kill him.
random, still somehow alive. Sky Crew as well. Zefta jumps in and does the Mach Punch as well, but it's just a little bit of poke. Mowgli, he's gonna go in. Metamorphosis has been activated. Zefta to back up the damage. There's the Tides of Life coming through from Pambu, and the stun, it's not gonna connect. Finally, he does get the kill onto Zefta. Sky Crew is low, but Zefira is the one to fall in that fight. Existence, they somehow hold on and trade their own lives once again.
But Bamboo, that was smart. By full committing to the team fight, he drew the focus away from the lane, and he was able to slow down the indomitable march forward of Qlash. The problem, in the meantime, Random soloing out the Abyssal. He'll pick it up, it'll be back in 14 seconds. Existence had the right idea. They weren't able to execute that fight. They must kill Random.
Yeah, they indeed do, but for that, they need to get the farm. You look at the levels, you look at the farm on these teams, the goal difference, just absolutely phenomenal in favor of Qlash. Somehow, Existence, they have to hold on.
Random is 9,000 gold. Like, that's insane. Especially compared to the most farmed player opposing him, having absolutely nothing. This was what I talked about in the pregame. You have such a slow farm on the Slims, currently sitting around 5,000. The Random was just able to completely take over the early game and start invading. Now he's got a Drake and potentially a high ground Metamorphosis.
Whoa, that's a Metamorphosis onto 4 people. The stun is going to be connected by Zefira there. Kralmaris jumps in down onto the Random. They're trying to kill Random down, but the damage is way too much for Kralmaris to deal with. Finally, Random has gone down, but Existence have lost 4 in the process. Chicken is the one to fall as well. That's 5 people down, and Existence, they get aced out. That's a triple kill for Sky Crew. What a phenomenal play coming throughout the game. 7-0 and 10 on him as Qlash. They're gonna finish off the base.
Absolutely insane. Qlash blow my mind with a weird new strategy. And it works out dominantly. Random gets insanely powerful. Sky manages to make things work without even really being assigned a lane. And they walk away with